Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're here today with Malekith on a cold one, and the rest of the Druchii that he's brought along with him. Going to be facing up against the Empire. This is definitely one of the top tier matchups. In my opinion, these are the two best factions in terms of the tier list, you know, and kind of the metagame right now. But let me know what you guys think about that statement. We'll go ahead and take a look at the army compositions and talk a bit more about the matchup. For myself, I've got Malekith on the cold one on the ground, just because the Empire, with their superior range of the handgunners, nets of Amantok, and of course Griffins, very much control the skies in this matchup, although you can go pretty heavy with the Black Dragons. Again, handgunners have much better range than, say, you know, your crossbow units, so they also have nets of Amantok, which can isolate you, and it's just tough. You know, you can go that route, but it's definitely a risk. So I like to play it safe. Just bring Malekith on the ground. To back him up, we've got some Witch Elves and Black Art of Nagron. So if a Griffin does come diving in, we can lock them down. Other high-value targets as well, like Demigryph Knights and so on. Front line is mainly Black Art Corsairs with the Dread Spear on each flank. The Corsairs are decent. In this matchup, they'll do very well against most state troops, flagellants, anything lower than greatswords they're going to be very good against. They'll struggle with greatswords, but they will be able to do some damage. It's just not going to be as efficient as possible. We've got Black Arc Corsairs with handbows to back them up. These guys don't have terrible armor piercing. They obviously don't have as much as the Dark Shards. But still, 3 armor piercing on 2 projectiles is pretty decent. And, you know, they're good in melee as well. And again, against state troops and lower armor targets, these guys are very, very good, especially flagellants. They can also help deal with handgunners and so on, so I really like these guys in this matchup. We've also got 2 Cold One Knights, 1 on each flank for, again, more anti-large armor piercing. We've also got 2 units of Dark Riders with shields over here in the woods, just to help get on the back line, potentially compromise skirmishers, and so on. Very good stuff. For my opponent's build, he's got a very strong front line of Flagellants mixed with Greatswords, Sigmar's Sons, and the Tattersouls as well. Greatswords are obviously going to be very good here. The Flagellants, although they won't win, can potentially hold out for some time, allowing the Silver Bullets, these Sterling's Revenge, Free Company Militia, and another unit of handgunners here to get some really nice armor-piercing missile fire. He's also got Demigryph Knights with Halberds, very strong as well, and Boris Todbringer up on a Griffin. So very much what you would expect to see from a meta-type army. He's also got 2 Spearmen in the rear for some extra anti-large support. And yeah, that's it. So, of course, a Light Wizard as well with the Nets of Amantok. Looks like he also has Banishment, so going to be very good. And yeah, it's a very strong Empire build. It's sort of a traditional, you know, just use the, you know, Flagellants and just hold the line with the Flagellants, get some armor piercing from the Greatswords, a lot more armor piercing from the handgunners and Silver Bullets and Free Company Militia here, the Sterling's Revenge. You know, very traditional Empire build, but we'll see how it goes for him. So let's go ahead and kick things into full gear. I'm just going to be charging straight up the pipe since he does have a ranged advantage on me with those handgunners. I want to get into melee here as quickly as possible. My Black Arc Corsairs will tear through the Flagellants in melee. These Sigmar's Sons as well are going to suffer pretty badly. The only problem is, of course, they're unbreakable, and the gunners will be able to fire in on the gaps that open up. They're getting some really nice fire there on the Black Art of Nagron. Meanwhile, we're going to be pushing around the flank with this unit of Cold Ones here and this unit here. My opponent getting a really nice net, and me not being fast enough to react. Going to be able to lock these guys down, and they're going to take quite a bit of damage from the Free Company Militia. Of course, Free Company have a higher model count than handgunners. Because these guys actually have armor piercing, they can actually do a ton of damage at close range. But we've just charged Malekith through on this mainline fight here, as well as the Witch Elves, trying to really just break through the center here and potentially get back and compromise these skirmishers. You can see the Sigmar's Sons actually doing very, very well here with the Black Arc Corsairs. Greatswords, of course, will beat Dread Spears, but a bit of miss micro here on my part, getting these Cold One Knights caught out. We're going to try and bring in these Dark Riders to spring them free. But honestly, this is a pretty bad engagement. I'm just holding up these Demigryphs at this point, but I really need these Dark Riders to get back here and get on these handgunners. For now, though, the handgunners are firing in on the Dark Riders, which is not super efficient. We're getting some nice shots with the Reaver handbows as well, or excuse me, the Black Arc Corsair handbows. But you can see this unit of Flagellants in the center almost gone, so we're just going to push through with this main force. But unfortunately, I am a bit blobbed up here, and my opponent's going to punish me very well for that by dropping a beautiful Nets of Amantok here. Meanwhile, The the Cold One Knights were quickly sent into a rampage on both flanks and haven't really been super effective up until this point, but my opponent's going to make a bit of a mistake here and dive in all these Demigryph Knights and Boris here right into this blob, which means that the Witch Elves are immediately going to turn around and start to enrage them. The Black Art of Nagaron as well, doing some excellent armor-piercing anti-large damage. We're getting a rear charge from the Cold One Knights, who are currently rampaging, and Malekith himself is doing quite a bit of damage to Todbringer. Those Demigryph Knights just disappeared in almost an instant, and Boris himself is in a really bad situation, just getting surrounded by all these anti-large armor-piercing troops. There's really not a lot he can do about it at this point. Of course, Malekith on the Cold One does have armor-piercing, no anti-large, but very heavy armor-piercing weapon strength, and Boris Todbringer's already gone. So it was initially looking very advantageous for the Empire. It's starting to come back into my favor. Still very close at this point. We are going to be able to finish off Boris there, and the Dark Riders have gotten into the back line and compromised these handgunners, which is very nice for us. My opponent doing a very good job dropping another Nets of Amantok here, going to be hopefully repositioning these handgunners, but I am pushing through with the Black Art Corsairs as well, who in themselves have a very fast movement speed of 40. Over here on this flank, greatswords are starting to break through, but I've just moved these handbows back and just put them into guard mode. Now they're in skirmish, so they'll just continually kite away, and again, they have 40 move speed, so they're faster than the greatswords, and I believe they're also faster than the flagellants, so they should be able to get on the move there and do some nice skirmish action. Meanwhile, Malekith and these Witch Elves just trying to clean up some of the infantry here. These greatswords suffering pretty badly to Malekith's armor-piercing damage. The Black Art of Nagaron here finishing off some of the lower tier infantry spearmen here. They really don't have a prayer up against the very elite Black Art of Nagaron. This Sigmar Sons is a bit overchasing here. Really needs to help come back to this fight if he wants to have any chance of coming back. But at this point, the balance of power is flipped very heavily in my favor, and it does look like we're going to be able to pull this one back. What initially looked very dicey is starting to go back in my favor. I definitely think it was a major mistake to dive in with Boris, and I understand wanting to take out Malekith as quickly as possible, but honestly, he should have just used them to go after more of my infantry and just tried to isolate that pocket continuously. Did a really good job with that net, but if he'd been able to capitalize by just really aggressively shooting in on the Black Guard, I think that would have been the best target for him. Once you eliminate the Black Guard, then it's a lot safer to come down after Malekith. But just some thoughts. Still very well played to my opponent. He just about had me there, so very close game. And you can see just the Light Wizard getting bullied now by these Dark Riders. We've been able to shatter the handgunners and the silver bullets, so very fun stuff. Sigmar Sons on their way back from routing. These greatswords over here, and these greatswords also just continuing to chase these handbows. Going to be going after the Sterlin's Revenge here. These Black Art Corsairs going to be getting a very nice charge. Definitely doing some great damage. So with that, it's pretty much going to be game. Only the Sigmar Sons remain, and my opponent is going to gamely admit defeat, since, yeah, it's pretty much done for at that point. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. Very fun stuff. Well played to Nate the Great. And yeah, let's take a look at the army breakdown. So for my army, these Black Art of Nagaron proving absolutely clutch, along with the Witch Elves just really breaking through the center there with Malekith. Very strong, and of course, when Boris and the Demigryph Knights decided to dive in on that fight, they were punished them very severely for doing so. I very much like the Black Art Corsairs with the handbows here. They each got quite a bit of kills. 63 and 67 is very nice. Good against flagellants. They helped deal some damage to the handgunners as well. 105 kills on this unit of Black Art Corsairs and 2 chevrons. It's really nice. One of them, 75, is pretty good as well. The other two got a little bit wrecked on there, but that's okay. Dread Spears just holding on the flanks like they're meant to. The Cold One Knights being mismicroed pretty badly. If I had microed them a little bit better, we maybe could have gotten some work done, but my opponent also doing a very good job isolating them with the Demigryph Knights and the nets and really just cutting them down, getting them to that enrage, and then just using the spears and so on. Really effectively deal with them, so well played on that account. Dark Riders were initially losing that engagement pretty badly, but able to come back, in the third quarter and do some really nice chasing down of those skirmishers, so very nice on them. Malekith himself, only 38 kills, but helping to dispatch Boris and, doing some nice magic work as well. So, very fun stuff for my opponent. 83 kills and 93 on greatswords is pretty good. You would definitely want to see that many kills on an elite unit like that. Flagellant's doing better than I expected. 56, 75, and 51 on the Sigmar Sons. Sigmar Sons have excellent combat stats, so even against a unit like the Black Art Corsairs, they'll still do very well. the Silver Bullets and the Free Company getting some work done, dealing with the Cold One Knights, but then just not able to quite finish off all these Black Ark Corsairs here. And if he had kept, for example, these Demis and Boris in just chasing down some of those routing Corsairs and dealing with my other infantry, rather than trying to dive in on Malekith, the Witch Elves, and the Blackguard, could have turned out differently for him. He definitely was in a commanding position at that point, so it's a very good matchup. Like I said, these are the two top-tier factions in my opinion. Both have a ton of awesome tools, armor-piercing missiles being chief among them, but very fun stuff. A lot of back and forth. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be keeping it coming with more Total War Warhammer content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.